Are you confused about when to use self.assertIn versus assert in your Selenium tests? You're not alone. Today, we're diving into this common question to help you understand the best practices for assertions in your Python scripts. I totally get it. It can be really tricky to decide which assertion method to use, especially when you're trying to ensure your tests are both effective and clear. Many developers face this dilemma, and it's important to get it right. Let's look at a specific case. One user asked, when should I use self.assertIn versus assert in my Selenium tests? They provided a snippet of their code where they used self.assertIn for checking the page title, but opted for assert when checking the page source. Sound familiar? Let's break this down. So what's the difference? Self.assertIn is part of the Unittest Framework and provides better error messages when the assertion fails. It's great for checking if a value exists within a collection. On the other hand, assert is a built-in statement that simply checks a condition and raises an assertion error if it fails. Stick around. By the end of this video, you'll not only know when to use each assertion, but also how to write clearer and more effective tests. To decide when to use self.assertIn versus assert, the user should first understand the purpose of each assertion method. Self.assertIn is specifically designed to check if a value exists within a collection, such as a string or a list. On the other hand, the assert statement is a more general assertion that simply checks if a condition is true. It can be used for a variety of checks, including Boolean conditions. Next, the user should consider readability and clarity in their tests. Using self.assertIn can make the intention of the test clearer, especially when checking for membership in a collection. Lastly, the user should remember that self.assertIn provides better error messages when the assertion fails. This can be very helpful for debugging. Fun fact, did you know that the assert statement in Python is actually a debugging aid? It helps catch errors early in your code, so using it wisely can save you a lot of headaches. Now let's look at the answers provided by other users. This user suggests that when deciding between self.assertIn and assert in your Selenium tests, consider the context of your assertions. They explain that self.assertIn requires importing the unit test library and is useful for structured test classes, providing clear error messages when tests fail. On the other hand, assert is simpler and more straightforward, but it may not give as detailed feedback on failures. The user highlights that both methods achieve the same result, but self.assertIn is more readable in the Python shell, making it easier to identify issues during testing. They conclude that the choice between the two often comes down to personal preference and the specific needs of your test cases. Let's take a look at an answer from another user. This user suggests that the assert keyword is a built-in feature in Python that indicates the internal state of the program. They emphasize that in test cases, it's better to avoid using assert directly. Here's a quick tip. Always prefer self.assertIn for clarity and better error reporting in your tests. It can make a huge difference in understanding test failures. And there you have it. Now you know when to use self.assertIn and when to stick with assert. Keep practicing, and your tests will be clearer and more effective. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more tips and tricks.